Let me take you back to the US. The US is running at a 38 and be reaching shortly $40 trillion of debt. That means you're going to repay $40 trillion to the world. It's got bonds, issued to every country in the world. Every country holds these bonds, and the government is paying nearly $40 billion of interest on these debts every month. That's what I understand. So if this is going to continue for such a long time, the US is the biggest world market. Everybody knows it, and it is living on debt. That also everybody knows. That is because everybody is confident that the American US economy can bear this strength and this weight, and they will be able to repay. The confidence level is because they have the largest tech companies in the world, and some of them they are the largest arms manufacturers in the world, and they supply the world with all these kind of tech and arms. So they have a substantial backing on which they will be able to hold their debt. But even there they are feeling the pain today. Inflation is slowly rising. It was not that what it was 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Consumer goods, if you look at the retail prices, are rising. And for example, I was reading in a very article where they said that the top fast foods, 15 top fast foods of the US economy, like Chipotle, McDonald's, Popeyes, these kind of, a lot of these carry-ons are being affected. Some of them are closing down. I think McDonald's is closing down stores in the US. It is the Golden Arch, the most famous. It's not able to provide facilities what it was giving earlier to its consumers. I read one consumer complaining, saying that he is not able to afford a McDonald's burger because it's so expensive. From $3 got to $7. That is, beef prices are rising. And recently, because beef prices are rising so fast that Trump had to defer his 40% tariff on the beef supplier Brazil very recently, including corn. So you are able to understand what will be the effect of debt on what is happening to US. Will we be able to stand that kind of strain on our economy, especially our banks? That is the reason I am arguing against it currently. When we reach a stage that we, based on our manufacturing capacity, based on our service capacity, based on our economic strength, we will be able to look at it, SLR, in a different view, slowly. For example, the government has taken a very big step in increasing the economic slab rate for the exemption slab rate to about approximately 12 lakhs. And if you take advantages of the up to 15 lakhs, you are given exemption. And pensioners with only pension are exempted totally from filing income tax. Your total income tax collection is based on approximately about 7 crore or 8 crore people in this India, out of a population of approximately 140 crores, which I would say is about 5%, 6%. 6% of the Indians pay tax. That is what is happening. But if we look at it, that has given a boost to our economy. That boost is happening because the GST economy income has increased for the government, and the government is able to spend. So this is one area by which the government is able to make money, and they are willing to spend it on so many infrastructure projects for the service of the company. For example, today we are able to provide, after COVID, we had no debts, food debts, I would say. Nobody committed suicide because of their food debts. Where the government is offering a subsidy. It is giving nearly 80 crores worth of subsidies to the lowest of the lowest. and that is provided mainly by the indirect taxes which we are generating. The direct taxes, the collection and the refunds are, they're literally running parallel. I don't know when the real collections will rise when the refunds start reducing. And that is happen only when you start production. And that is taking, a time. There will be a time lag. I'll be taking on this subject later. There will be a time lag before the investment and the takeover and how the production increases. So, continuing this on this line, Mr. Ankaleshwarya says that abolishing SLR will finally force the center and states tomorrow into a competitive market. Again, some say removing SLR will weaken monetary control. RBI has a full suite of modern tools because this fear is not, acceptable, because the RBI has a full suite of modern tools, open market operations, etc., etc., etc. In a fully developed economy like the US and the West, and with the populations, comparative populations, they are able to deal with the financial crisis in a better manner. But India is not reached that level of strength, and it requires some more time for the bankers to understand the free market, as you call it. Bankers have opened out very, very recently. They have not been exposed to though they have been exposed to the world market, they have never operated in the world market as today. Today we are having a few international banks, like SBI is operating throughout the world, HDFC is a private bank working throughout the world, Bank of Baroda is international bank, but other banks are not having the same strength as these three banks. And even these three banks are blips. Only Indians, majority of the Indians use these services, SBI, HDFC, Bank of Baroda, transact with business with India because they come from India, so they feel more confident with Indian banks. It is not an international bank like JP Morgan or Schwab or Wells Fargo. So I think it is too premature to look at the abolition of the SLR, and we should look at it more. We should look at it when we reach a strength by which we will be able to, compare our 140 crore people utilization with what economy we should have, at least with say 100 crore people, exempt the 40 crore people. What America has, US, Germany or Western nations have with their population levels and their levels of GDP or per capita, when we reach that level with 100 crores people, I am sure the government will positively take a look at this SLR concept, because at that time it means the market is very efficient, it's operating effectively, and it means that the banks will be able to stand on their own strengths. When the 100 crore people come into the operation, relatively to the population of the US currently or the Western nations currently which operate on this powerful economy, I'm sure that we can apply the thought process of what Mr. Ankaleshwara is trying to emphasize and bring forward, so that we will be able to have a freer banking system, a more friendlier banking system, and not only that, I would say it would be a mature democracy, and it will help the bankers become more mature and more efficient and operate in a more systematic manner, because they will be competing in the world. Today they are protected. We need that protection. Bankers need that protection. Everybody needs the government. Government also needs this protection, because we Indians are still not sufficiently strong enough, and our economy is not strong enough. We do not have the dollar strength. We do not have the yuan strength. We do not have the euro strength. When our rupee reaches at least 50 to 75% of the value of these strengths, based on our population or an economy, we can look at the SLR better. Thank you.